is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Holy cow! Yes!
We are coming to you from Guaranteed Rate Field in the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. It's Rick Renteria and our Chicago White Sox as they get set to butt heads with Joe Madden and his crosstown rival Chicago Cubs. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of this big three-game set. And this is neat as a big three-game set for two different reasons.
There's no doubt that our Sox are going to be excited. It's going to be a huge crowd. They have a chance to derail their rivals. It's going to be really entertaining for our boys coming off a big win against Cleveland. They want to keep that momentum going. As far as the Cubs are concerned, they want to avoid the one-and-done game with Milwaukee. They have a 2.5-game lead. If they get in the one-and-done game, it ruins your pitching rotation, which if you have a chance to clinch it early, you can get in alignment. So for them, some big games. For us, games we would dearly love to win. The difference is the Cubs have to win them.
And there's a lot of talent out on that bump today.
A couple of very good pitchers, and both of them are really hot. Ronaldo Lopez for our boys, Jose Quintana for their guys. We're familiar with Quintana, and we'll take a look at him because he's been red hot. This time against Milwaukee, he won that ball game and threw it exceptionally well. Next time out against Cincinnati, he threw it well again, only he lost that ball game. And as we know, Quintana's got to have his control to be successful. Ronaldo Lopez on the other side of the equation is a fireballer. He's been throwing really well lately and not much better than that outing against Baltimore. He was spectacular. The slider was sliding, the fastball was brilliant, and a straight change was as good as it had to be. So that was a great outing for him. And we'll take a look at these guys. The last 6 starts for Quintana, the last 5 for Lopez. As you can see, both pitchers throwing it exceptionally well. 5 starts for Ronaldo, an ERA of 1.10. Opponent's batting average of 165. 206 is good for Quintana. 165 is outstanding. So we're looking forward to this one today, the first of a 3-game series.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down because White Sox baseball coming your way.
have come for a 3-game visit. We are just minutes away from baseball here on WGN. I'm Lauren Majera. Now, before we start to take a look at Game 1, let's take a look back to May, the first of the 3-game set of the Crosstown Classic. Those 3 were at Wrigley Field. Now, 2 of the hottest hitters from that series at Wrigley was Wilson Contreras for the Cubs and Matt Davidson for the White Sox. So in that 3-game series total, Contreras put up 7 hits, 3 home runs, and 10 RBI. Actually, 7 of those runs batted in came in Game 1. And for Davidson, he put up a total of 2 home runs, 3 hits, and 5 RBI. So if we look at what it looks like when we put these 2 side by side from that matchup back in May, Davidson went 3 for 8 versus Contreras' 7 for 13. Davidson's 2 home runs versus Wilson's 3, and of course 5 to 10 RBI. So those 2 guys are definitely going to want to keep an eye on tonight. Stay with us here in WGN. The lineups and first pitch are coming right up.
Delivering the fastest internet and best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. Just a beautiful day for baseball, and make no mistake about it, these are big games for both teams. Big certainly for the Cubs because they have to win them. Big for the White Sox because we'd like to win them. And that really is the difference between the 2 teams at this stage of their development. The Sox are pretty much hoping to be where the Cubs have been the last few years as they take the field. Let's take a look at how Joe Maddon's going to line up his Chicago Cubs this afternoon. Daniel Murphy to lead it off. Chris Bryant in the 2 spot. He's back and healthy. Anthony Rizzo hitting 3rd. Javier Baez the cleanup hitter with Ben Zobrist. Jason Hayward, Victor Caratini, Kyle Schwarber, and Albert Almora Jr. in center field and batting 9th. Sox defense, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there this afternoon with Ryan, Adam, and Abasail in the outfield left to right with Jose, Tim, Yoan, and Matt in the infield. Wellington Castillo gets a nod behind the plate, and Ronaldo Lopez on the hill, on for his 31st start, so he's been very durable. 175 and 2/3 innings, which is pretty good for a young starter. You see less hits than innings pitched. And opponent's batting average at 237, so this is what he's going to feature today. The 4-seam fastball is going to be something that he relies on. Then the slider comes second. The changeup, which is getting better, is third. And the curve and the slider, negligible. Well, it's a different type of slider, not the real one down there at 0%. The umpires for the game this afternoon. Chad Whitson has the plate. Mark Rippercher is at first. Doug Eddings at second. And the crew chief, Joe West, is at third base. And there is a look at the Cubs skipper, Joe Maddon. He's had a great run at it since coming over from the Tampa Bay Rays. Ricky Renteria looks across and sees where he needs to be not necessarily next year, but certainly in the next couple of years, he would love to have the kind of success the Cubs have had. They did it with some very good trades, some excellent homegrown players. The Sox are trying to do it the same way. Just the occasional free agent, and again, the Sox are trying to do that the same way. And so we're ready to play baseball as Daniel Murphy heads to the plate. This is the start of a very entertaining series, and time to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you very much. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here with WGN Sports. So happy you could join us. As the first pitch of the ball game, Ronaldo has been averaging this year, and you said it earlier, this is 175 and 2/3 innings coming in. He's been averaging 95.5 on his fastball.
Yeah, it's really wonderful, the fact that that velocity will stay up the entire game.
Murphy hitting at 287, 11 homers, 38 driven in. Cubs hitting at 259 as a team with a very fine 3.65 team ERA. And very quickly, he's in a big hole, 3-0. There's one. And here at Guaranteed Rate Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center.
What wind there is today is blowing straight out.
Here's a bullet. Daniel Murphy, when he was with the Mets, he was a heck of a player.
He also did a whole lot of damage to these Cubs, and that's one of the reasons why they went and got him. They like him in that uniform a lot better than they like him in any other uniform.
He was one of those guys. He was not afraid to drive in a big run in the 7th, 8th, or 9th innings.
No, he's been a quality hitter for a long time.
Ooh.
Went up and out of the strike zone to foul that one back. We showed you the flags. The wind is very much a factor here today. It's blowing straight out, so anything up in the air, doesn't matter right or left-hander, it's going to leave the ballpark.
First of 3 in the Crosstown Series. Get foul. Get foul. Get foul. It won't. And it is 1-0 Cubs. That's number 12.
12 and 39 on the power numbers for Murphy, and he starts it off the way the Cubs wanted it started off, which is 1-0 up. We'll take another look. That ball's low and in, and left-handers just love the ball down and in. I mean, they always have. They probably always will. And that ball, the only question was, would it stay fair? And that was answered by Mark Ripperger.
Well, that sequence of pitches right there, as you see Murphy making the call, that sequence of pitches was absolutely conducive to a home run. 3-0.
Yeah.
Trying to throw a strike, doesn't want to walk him. Gets in his wheelhouse, and you can put it on the board. Here's Bryant, 278, 12 homers, 49 driven in, 26-year-old third baseman. That's the 160th home run for the Cubs. Our guys have 176.
So 2 hitters, and Ronaldo has fallen behind badly to both. Having to make some really good pitches early in this game.
That's the whole key. You got to make good pitches when you're really not into a rhythm.
Yeah.
That's in the right field. That's a can of corn.
Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com.
So here's Rizzo, Anthony at 276, 24 homers, 95 driven in.
Those numbers are much more Rizzo-like. He got off to a slow start this year, but he's been a good hitter for a long time. And standing right on top of the plate, he's normally a pretty tough out.
He's got a good approach. And you can't say that about a lot of guys. You can't say that about probably 90% of the hitters in the American League. They don't have a good approach.
No, and he will, especially when he gets down in the count, he's going to shorten up, and he will drive the ball to left center field. So not too many holes in his game.
No, he's a good one. He's a thoroughbred. I love, especially when I say approach, that two-strike approach that you just alluded to. I mean, that's the way it's got to be done.
Yeah, and he does it. He does it as well as a whole lot of people in his league.
Well, Votto is probably the best. But Rizzo is right there.
Yeah, he is. You wouldn't mind having either of them.
Oh,
If you had a choice, give me either one.
So here's the 2-1 pitch. Ate him up right there. And that's going to be a Kansas City special.
Lopez throws this one right in on his hands, and yet off the end of the bat, Rizzo gets enough to dump it in front of Avi in right field.
There's where the big, strong guys have such an advantage over the course of 162 games, because when they hit one in the air, the outfielder who's going to have to try to make the play, his first step's going to be back.
Yeah, the little guys, you're not going to chase them back with anything. They're going to come and get that little looper.
Yep. So here is 25-year-old Avi Baez. 294, 33 homers, 107 knocked in. Boy, he's an exciting player.
He's just been a quality player on both sides of the field. He can play outstanding defense. He can hit the ball for a long way. He can hit it for average. He can steal bases. There's not much he can't do.
Well, he's got a lot of a young Adrian Beltre in him.
If he has that kind of career, it'll be spectacular.
He's probably got as much bat speed as anybody in this league.
He has a whole lot of that. He does not like to walk. Consequently, Ronaldo does not have to throw him a strike. He's only walked 26 times while fanning 151 this year in over 560 at-bats.
Yes, he did. He gone. One thing about Baez, they have an excellent hitting coach in Chili Davis. And when a youngster, you guys, much talent as Baez, putting up the numbers he's putting up, boy, you just leave him alone. That's what Chili will do.
There's no real reason to say anything to Baez. He's so packed with talent that the talent's going to come out. Just give him a chance to play. And he doesn't care where he plays.
Chili, one of the better hitting coaches in all of baseball. He's not one of those guys that teaches all mechanics. That'll do it with the leadoff homer. High towering drive by Daniel Murphy after half inning of play. It's the Cubs one and the good guys coming to bat.
leading it off, and it's Rondon and Garcia with Matt Davidson, who's done a nice job in the absence of Jose Abreu. Then Castillo, Smith, Moncada, Lamar, and Engel round out the offense. The defense, and now Joe Madden's going to put them out there. It's Zobrist, Elmora, and Hayward left to right with Chris Bryant. Javier Baez, Murphy, Rizzo, Caratini behind the plate, and Jose Quintana on the hill. 13-10 this year. His ERA just under 4. He's not completed a game. Opponent's hitting just .239. That's a good number. Normally the control is very good. And I would suggest the boys look for the ball inside. As you see the four-seam fastball, his staple, the curve at 25%. He will cut the fastball also, and that's what moves inside to the right-handers.
Well, if he's going to get that cutter in on the right-handers, we got a tough battle.
Yeah.
So here's Tim. Tim at 242, 19 homers. Takes first pitch strike. And Quintana, one of my favorite White Sox players when he was wearing our uniform, and except for today, or when he's pitching against us, I hope he wins every game.
Yeah, he was just a wonderful man.
Yeah. One of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. That's up high.
We have found, like most quality pitchers, you got to get on him early, because early he doesn't necessarily have that good feel, especially on the inside part to the right-handers.
Well, we got to get him in the stretch, says Olson.
That would be good.
Yeah, he's, as Bryant throws him out, one down. So right now with one out, let's check out our picks to click today. Adam Engel, the fans. Moncada, the crew. Lamar, Steve, J.J. Shearer, David Novak, George Jacobs, and we're going to go with Jose Rondon. J.J. Shearer and all the great folks at Ditka's. Takes the strike.
The visibility is starting to be a little shaky. So where you could fully see everybody in the first inning, you move to the bottom of the first, and now you're seeing the shadows as they creep across home plate. So because this game started at 3:10, visibility, at least early, is not going to be 100%.
This is somewhat typical of when Nolan Ryan was pitching for the Angels out at the Big A in Anaheim.
Yeah, if you got him for that dusk game, you got him for that 5 o'clock start, you were in big trouble.
It's amazing some of the stuff that was talked about when they had to face Nolan in that twilight. I mean, he had, believe me when I tell you, you don't see many major league hitters scared, but there are a ton of guys scared.
Couldn't see the ball very well, and he was throwing 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Well, Wimpy's got a great story about that. When the Sox were playing and Nolan Ryan was pitching at the Big A, Ralph Garr led off the top of the first inning. Nolan threw him 3 fastballs, blew him away, so Garr comes back to the dugout and says, "Boys, this ball game is over." first hitter. And it was.
So I was saying, sometimes you just know. You know when one of the big guys has their best stuff.
2-2 pitch. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, 2 down.
There's that fastball. It is literally dotting the inside corner, and that's where, if Jose had his preference, he would stay right there.
Jose, you didn't see that much of him. You saw him enough to recognize him, but Jose reminds me a lot with his fastball of Wilson Alvarez.
I just saw Wilson a couple times, but
he had that fastball almost like a Terry Forster, only he didn't throw quite as hard as Forster, but it got about 10 feet from home plate and then jumped at you.
Well, that's how Jose's been his entire career, because with his fastball, which is less than overpowering, he's gotten a lot of outs.
Oh, yeah. That little flip at the end. And he should be, as long as he keeps that flip, he should be a very, very strong pitcher for the Cubs. 1, 2, 3 inning, couple of punch outs, and it is 1-0 Cubs.
Runs on Duncan.
Here's Hayward. It'll be Hayward, Caratini, and Schwarber. You're just tuning in. Leadoff homer by Daniel Murphy. High towering drive just inside the foul pole down the right field line. There's a changeup. With that twilight out there right now, you don't want to be speeding up anybody's bat.
No, unfortunately, Daniel Murphy, the man you just saw, is responsible for that lead. Ronaldo, last time, and he was brilliant against Baltimore, his fastball averaged right around 96 miles an hour. What was most impressive was it was in the strike zone.
Watch out. Watch out. Oh, good. Screen saved.
Yeah, it's another aid for the netting. Nice job.
One out.
Take another look as the bat goes flying. Hayward goes down on strikes, and fortunately, the net saved some further damage.
Yeah, that bat had a little giddy up on it.
What I was talking about last time out, just under 80% of the time, Ronaldo, when he threw his fastball, it was a strike, and that was the key to a terrific outing.
I watched that game in Baltimore. I tell you what, he got squeezed a bunch in that game.
He did, and yet still
didn't bother him.
Nope, just went out, felt really good about his stuff, and just dominated. Unfortunately for the Orioles, he dominated a bad team, but they're still major league hitters, and you still got to get the ball in the zone.
Yeah, if you got a major league uniform on, you can hit. Now, whether you do or not is another story. Pitcher's got something to say about that. But if you got all these guys, they wouldn't get signed. That's trouble. Oh, what a play. Yes.
Well, that was as good as you'll see, and that is the maturation process of a very young player who's come into this year and probably picked up 30 to 40% defensively. Now, he's hitting the ball well, but he couldn't have made this play the first 2 months of the season. He's making it now, and he's getting something on it. Now, granted, Victor's a catcher. Still, from the left side, this is a wonderful play. He had an extra step as a left-hand hitter and couldn't get there near in time.
Well, as we were talking prior to the game, I can't ever recall seeing a guy in the space of about 2 months improve defensively as much as he has.
Looks to me like, and you know he's the same guy, he just looks like a different player. And I talked to Tim about that, and he said, you know what, I'm so much more comfortable now. And he praised Joe McEwing with getting him out there every day, taking ground balls, working to both sides, and really shoring up his backhand especially.
Let me tell you something. A guy like Joe McEwing is worth his weight in gold.
No
who
doubt
can
about
take
it.
a talent like Anderson, who, let's face it, last year was not a good shortstop at all. This year, starting off the season, at all, he was not a good shortstop. And now, I'll tell you one thing right now, I don't know if there's a better shortstop in the American League.
Well, some of the plays that he's made over the last month have been spectacular. That one right there with him, because he had a long way to go, and he had to make the off-balance throw and get a whole lot on it, which he did.
Well, it still surprises me that Joe McEwing is not managing someplace.
You have to believe that he will.
He will.
He's at the time right now where he's paid his dues, certainly knows his profession, and eventually, and I think in the not-too-distant future, he's going to get one of those jobs, and they are not easy to come by.
Well, Steve, you know how important demeanor is.
Yep.
Demeanor is so important for a manager, a coach, especially a hitting coach. That's why Charlie Owl, he had a perfect demeanor for a hitting coach. And when you've got that, guys will listen. If you got somebody that's going to force feed you, that ball hit hard but foul. If you got a hitting coach who's going to force feed you stuff, they're not going to listen. I would imagine it's the same thing with a pitching coach.
There's no doubt. And you know, but he's got to be parts everything. It's very much the same psychological endeavor as a pitcher. We're talking about a hitter now, but obviously much different every other way. Yeah, the pitching coaches that can find a way to relate to you because everybody's different. Those pitching coaches are the ones that stay around a long time.
Full count to Schwarber. I love to watch this guy swing the bat.
He swings it really hard.
He gone. 1, 2, 3 inning, couple punch outs, but it's still 1-0 bad guys.
By UI Health, providing expert care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
Davidson, Castillo, and Smith to face Quintana. Pretty good pass at that one.
Got his fastball right down the middle and hoping for another in the same spot. You don't usually get another in that same spot.
That's the thing about hitting against major league pitching, especially when a guy's on top of his game like Quintana's been. You're a 7-1 favorite to get a good pitch to hit every time you go to that plate. And if you miss it, foul it back, pop it up or ground it out, and shame on you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're probably going to get one. Sometimes if the pitcher's not quite as good, maybe you get two.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if they're real good,
you don't get any, and that's a tough day.
Well, I mean, you've seen it, and I've seen it. Guys like Corey Kluber. Yeah, that's the base hit there, boy. So you can cancel a post-game show. But I've seen Kluber and Jake Arrieta when I've watched the games. I've seen hitters got 0 to hit. Nothing, nada.
That can happen.
I'm talking about in an at-bat.
Yeah, I would say, well, some of the good guys at the top of their game, you're not going to get too many pitches in a day.
So here's Castillo, 242, 6 homers, 15 driven in. Big gap out there in left center. Takes first pitch strike.
Wellington doesn't have a whole lot to show for since coming back from the suspension, but he's starting to hit the ball a bit better. And that's what you have control of. You don't have control of where it's going to land, but if you keep hitting it hard, they're going to find a safe place to land.
That's into left center. They're not going to get that one. The Davison will have to hold up. So Castillo against his former mates.
Time now for the Volkswagen replay. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer now or VWdealer.com. Nice, easy stroke. He went down, kept his head down, didn't open up too quickly, and like he's been doing, hit it hard.
Well, best thing about that statement is nice, easy stroke.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people, even some hitters at the big league level, don't understand. The harder a guy is throwing, the longer you have to wait. Because if you make a premature move overcoming what they call the initial inertia, that bat's going to be slow. Kevin at 288, a homer. He's driven in 16, takes the strike. And the count evens at 1.
Outfield fairly deep all the way around. Actually surprisingly deep. Could very well be because of the wind blowing straight out, but they're deep all the way.
That ball hit into left center field. Stretch! Stretch! He's back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Hell yes.
Kevin with just his second home run of the year. He's now driven in 19. The Sox have a 3-1 lead, and that ball shot out of here. We told you about the wind. That was a line drive. The wind didn't affect it. But fly balls today are an endangered species. Rolling breaking ball. Quintana has one leave the ballpark because there was no late movement. It just kind of settled in, and Kevin hit it out.
First pitch strike to Moncada. 231, 17 homers, 60 knocked in. And there's a base hit. Well, you framed it perfectly. They're just not trying to do too much.
No, it looks to me like it's a very relaxed team. And you know yourself, Hawk, you played like I did on some teams who weren't particularly good. You played on teams who were very good. But when you're playing a team that's in contention and you're not, there's a lot of added incentive. Whether it's the Chicago Cubs or anybody else, you want to go and you want to tear them apart. Just because that's your season. I mean, the Cubs have the postseason, the Sox don't. This is essentially their postseason.
Well, you've heard me say it before. I get a kick. Sometimes they'll interview a player and say, well, it's just another series. Well, that's a bunch of BS.
We know that that's just a way of taking off the pressure.
That's the wrong way. One of the greatest things an athlete can have is adrenaline.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get an opportunity, there's three things that baseball is based on. It's based on great players, tradition, and great rivalries. Those three elements are the foundation of the great game of baseball. And there's a little Kansas City special.
That's 5 hits in a row. Single by Davidson, single by Castillo, 3-run homer by Smith, a single by Moncada, and a single by Lamar. So this little looper to right field. No chance for Hayward, who is a very good outfielder. Then he has some problems with that. He was thinking about trying to get the force out at second base with Moncada about halfway, waiting for this ball to drop. Couldn't corral it, so first and second, nobody out.
Well, if you notice, the visibility factor is about 100% better than it was in the first inning.
Yep. Well, now, yeah, everything is really crowded. As far as the mound is concerned, now they break it up. Chad Whitson going out there to break it up, but the visibility is got to be a bit better because now instead of half visibility, the hitter is entirely in shadows.
You have time to pick it up. So here's Adam. Angle 237, 6 homers, 28, and he's been trending upward for the last month and a half as he squares the bunt. Not a good effort. A little jab at it, and the count 0-1.
And normally, Adam has made himself a very good bunter. He's got 7 sacrifices this year. I mean, that leads the team by a wide margin. The closest is a number of guys with just 2 sacrifices.
Well, Rizzo's going to try to take the bat right out of his hand where he's playing. Bryant's got a hole in case there's a play at third. Here's where the pitcher, he's got to bust it towards the line, so that's why if you just bunted it straight back, you got a pretty good chance of getting a base hit. You played on a team that in situations like this, they made you absolutely, they put you on the defense. Yes, he did, said Whitson, and that was the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, that particular team trained so hard at these plays of taking away plays from the offense and making sure that if you did attempt a sacrifice, you had to make a good one, not just a bunt. It had to be a good bunt or they were going to cut down the lead runner.
In my whole career in baseball, that's the best team at defending men on first and second in a bunt situation. Nobody. Minnesota was close, but not like Baltimore. Good take. Count evens at 2. If you're just tuning in, 3-1 good guys here in the bottom of the second inning.
Interesting scenario because it looks like Baez is the closest out at second base to Moncada. So you got some room on the left side to hit it through if he's the guy that's going to hold him close.
That ball hit hard. Stretch. Stretch. Dadgummit. So there's the tag. They throw to first. Not in time. He just missed it.
Well, Ryan Lamar started to make what would have been a very bad play because he didn't run initially. If you don't run initially, Javier Baez is not the man you want to test because he's a very smart player. And he decided when he took a look, there was no play at second. He knew that there had to be a play at first with Lamar. So because he didn't run, he almost got thrown out of first base.
So now 1 out, runners at the corners. Takes first pitch strike.
These are still, even though it's very early in this game, these are still big runs to pick up because this Cub team, although they go through periods where they don't score a whole lot, they got a lot of thunder in that lineup. And when they get it rolling, especially late in a ball game, they're pretty tough to handle.
They got a bunch of dangerous hitters.
Yeah, they really do.
They got a couple of good hitters, and they got quite a few dangerous hitters. You make a mistake on them, they're probably going to hit it hard someplace.
Joe Maddon knows he's got a ball club that comes back late a lot. That just missed Gene Honda in the next booth.
He handled it.
Ooh, that one came up with a little steam on it.
He had to turn 2 on that play. The 1-2 pitch. Caratini with the block. Well, I tell you, Adam just missed that one.
Came pretty close. Chases Obrist all the way back to the middle of the track before he finally hauled it in.
Big gap in left center once again. And that's up high.
Rondon in the on-deck circle, and we'll see if Ricky Renteria decides that he would like to run with Lamar.
Well, we're seeing something that was we saw a lot when he was in a Sox uniform from Quintana. As he gets Anderson 2 down, and that's working out of the stretch.
This is some high heat. Turns out to be a very good pitch. Probably was in the strike zone. They threw it right by Tim.
So here's Rondon. Jose struck out last inning. Oh, he got a cookie there. It fouls it straight back. Whew.
This is a roller, and it was very similar to the pitch that Kevin Smith hit out of the park. Unfortunately, Jose just got a little piece of it.
That's up high.
So a whole lot of pitches so far. Pitch number 38 on the way, and we're not through the second inning. So it would appear that Joe Maddon would be going to that pen a little earlier than he would like if the pitches continue like this.
Well, Cubs come in with a 2.5 game lead over the Brew Crew. A couple of really good pitching coaches in this game. Of course, ours, whenever they put a Coach's Hall of Fame wing in there, Don Cooper's going in, and Cubs got themselves a good one too, and Jim Hickey.
Yeah, Jim Hickey is a good one, been a good one for a long time. And when they let Chris Bosio go, the logical guy was a guy that worked with Joe Maddon so long at Tampa, and that was Jim Hickey, who did a great job, especially when you consider that most of his bullpen was decimated every year, and they came back with new pensmen.
Well, a lot of baseball people who've been around for a long time will say those 4 flags that Joe Maddon put up down in Tampa Bay were a miracle.
Well, might not have been a miracle. It was pretty close to it, however.
Is that stuff he was running out there every day?
I was going to say, he did it with very few stars. You had Longoria at third base, certainly was a star. And they just mixed and matched.
Yeah, if you didn't let Longoria beat you, you had a real good shot at winning that game. 3-1.
Jose was starting to go to first base. That fastball was right down the middle.
I'm getting ready to say on 3-1, that's
you get split to plate fastball.
like putting it on a tee. There he goes. Strikes him out, so we blow an opportunity right there, but we do pick up 3 on this home run by Kevin Smith.
And the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
Here's Almora hitting at 283, 5 homers, 35 driven in. Sox lead at 3-1. They got a leadoff hit a home run in the first by Murphy, and then that 3-run homer by Kevin Smith. Ooh, he got a cookie to hit right there. Couldn't do anything with it. 0-2. Got in on him. Nice pick. Nice peg. Yes.
Time now for StatCast, powered by AWS. In the first inning, Murphy leads it off.
Get foul.
102.8 exit velocity. It was a high, towering fly ball at 35 degrees launch angle. And at the time, Cubs up 1-0. That lead vanished last inning.
That was really close to being a situation where the pitcher hit his bat.
He threw the pitch that if Murphy could order it up, he would love it there again.
Oh, sure.
Low and in to the left-hand hitter.
But I'll tell you one thing. There are times throughout the course of the year that a guy will hit a home run, and he's the most surprised guy in the ballpark. Remember a guy named Dean Chance?
I do. Worcester, Ohio.
That's into short, center field. Moncada goes back and makes the catch. Anderson, rather, excuse me. I'll tell you what, he is throwing some leather.
This is just an outstanding play. Now, he calls for it, but starts to realize that the wind is going to take it a lot further than he thought. Finally going up at the last instant. And you always talk about the outfielders as it is affected by the wind. You don't think about the infielders, but this one obviously went out maybe another 10 feet more than Tim thought and still made the play.
Here is Bryant. But Dean Chance had one of the best spitters in the game. I mean, he had a Jim Dandy. And we're playing him a game in Fenway. And he threw me one down and in. I saw it, and then I lost it. And went out of the ballpark, and I was the most surprised guy in the park. Because there, Timmy throws him out. And it's still a 3-1 Sox lead.
Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side.
First pitch strike to Avi. Chopper to Hopper.
Head to the ballpark for the final $1 hot dog day on Wednesday. Brings a tear to my eye. That's on September 26th as the Sox take on the Indians at 7:10. Brought to you by Securian Financial, who help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. For tickets, visit WhiteSox.com/$dogs today.
So here's Davidson. Matt started off that second with a single up the middle. That was the first of 5 consecutive hits, including the 3-run homer by Kevin Smith. Just pulled off it just enough. And the count 1-2.
That was a good straight change. Quintana doesn't throw a whole lot of those, but when he does, it's pretty effective because you see so many pitches moving inside to you as a right-hand hitter that when you see one moving away, your natural tendency is to open up, and then you don't get to it.
Yeah, the one thing that pitchers smart pitchers do is they want to get guys looking inside, because that's one of the things that widens that plate out from 17 inches to 20, 22. Two down. Great Al Kaline, Hall of Fame right fielder for the Tigers, told me one day I was really struggling. And we were taking batting practice in Detroit, getting ready to. They were still hitting, and now I'm out there by the cage. And so Kaline hits, comes around, and he knows I'm struggling. And he just, no fraternization hardly back in those days. He walks by me, he looks at me, he says, Hawk, show me a hitter that can't be jammed, and I'll show you a bleep bleep hitter. I didn't know what he was talking about. Later on, I figured it out.
Then you figured it out.
Yeah. He's right. If you can't be jammed, you're not a very good hitter.
Well, Wimpy and I talked about your approach, your stance right on top of the plate. And we talked about that last night. But hearing it from you is different. What were you trying to accomplish by getting up on the plate?
Against you, I would have stood right on top of it. Right. You know why? Because you're going to look in, you're going to see something you don't see a lot of, and that's a right-handed hitter, a strong right-handed hitter standing on top of the plate.
No, I don't think anybody likes that.
That's into left field. And that'll retire the side of 1-2-3 inning, but we still lead it 3-1.
Top end guy, and in return they paid dearly. Eloy Jimenez, you see the numbers this year, they were just spectacular. That's combined at two different levels. Dylan Cease, who's going to be a star, 12-2, an ERA of 2.40. And there's two other guys you might not have heard a lot of, Matt Rose, Bryant Fleet. See what they did at Birmingham, and a combination of Birmingham and Charlotte. So a 4-for-1 deal, but the big thing is it gave both teams exactly what they needed at the time they made the trade. Sox were looking for a whole lot of the future. They got that. Cubs were looking for a guy who could move into their starting rotation, win major league ball games consistently, and help them in the postseason, and Jose Quintana is definitively that guy.
Well, that's the kind of deals you like to see made.
Absolutely.
It's good for both clubs.
Help both teams, and then you don't mind making another deal.
You know, but getting back to standing on top of the plate, if I'm facing you, and you were primarily, after you hurt your arm, you became a breaking ball pitcher and a good one.
Yeah, I was going to throw you lots of curveballs.
And when I'm standing right on top of the plate, I'm not that's taking freewheeling it away from you.
You want to take the outside corner away from me, or at least make me think something that I haven't thought before.
Exactly.
And if I do that, you win.
It's a sense of control. It makes you change your thinking.
Yeah, if you do that, you've done your job before the at-bat even started.
The only guy that came that I'm aware of even close to standing on top of the plate like I did was Frank Robinson.
I talked to him about that. I said, when you moved that close to the plate, what were you trying to accomplish. And he said to me, well, I want to take the outside corner away. I want to see fastballs in.
Exactly, middle in.
I said, so if you want to do that, it seems pretty simple. Why don't more guys do that? And he said, because they don't want to get hit in the middle of their back about once every 2 or 3 games.
He was right.
Yeah. He said that.
Some guys cannot stand on top of the plate.
That's why they don't do it.
I've talked to so many hitting coaches who've tried to get guys to stand closer to the plate. And they tell you they just won't do it. 2-2 the count. That's shanked. Come on. And look at this. Mercy.
When you're a good hitter and you're as strong as Anthony Rizzo, these things are going to happen because the outfield have to respect your power. They're going to be deeper than they usually are. And occasionally you can just tap one and finds the spot.
Well, he's 2 for 2 in that category.
Yeah, he's got both of those. Are not hit very hard. They just found great places to land.
So here's Javi Baez struck out. Outfield, straight up, spread out. About equidistant. Way out in front at 82.
What Ronaldo would like to do is get Baez down where a good wipeout pitch is a fastball up and in. He knows he can throw that by him. You can throw that by just about any hitter, but you have to get in the situation where that becomes the wipeout pitch.
Well, the guy who really started changing the culture of pitching, so to speak, in the American League, I don't know about the National League, was a guy named Catfish Hunter. When I first came into the American League, 203-132, here it comes. See what you can do with it. When he came in, 2-0, slider. 3-1, slider. Full count, changeup. And he was so successful at it that everybody started doing it. That ball hit in the right field, that could be trouble. Yes, good play by Avi. Boy, he had a long way to go. I didn't think he could get there.
Oh, he did a terrific job, and that ball was in fair territory. That could have been at least a base hit, possibly a 2-base hit. But Avi came and got it. And, I mean, he's running a long way for this. It is a fair ball. He makes the catch, able to right the ship. Rizzo was a few feet off the bag. And he got back to first base.
So here's been a good, solid, steady player, Ben Zobrist. He's one of those guys just absolutely terrific for a contending team.
Was a tough year last year for him at 232, but this is a guy that can swing the bat.
And he can play everywhere for you.
Well, that's the advantage is wherever you have a hole on a given day, you can just plug in Ben Zobrist, and he gives you a quality defensive effort and swinging the bat from both sides. This year's a banner year for him.
He's one of the guys, I don't see him play that much, but I saw him play plenty out at Tampa Bay. He's one of the guys that will make, inside a game, a lot of adjustments up there at the plate.
He's just a smart player.
Yeah.
He's been a smart player for a long time and used to hit in the 20s for home runs, not so much anymore, but he's still going to get the double figures each and every year.
Static lead by Rizzo. 2-1 the count.
Because a lot of people felt that when they went out to get Ben Zobrist, they overpaid for him. But Joe Madden knew him so well from Tampa Bay and knew that he was perfect for the ball club, because there was going to be spots where you had to plug him in to positions where it might not be his everyday position, but he knew he could put him there and lose nothing defensively wherever they put Ben, and he's turned out to be a very good player for them.
I was talking with Joe before the game, and he said they actually have been pitching well, playing good defense, playing well, but just not hitting. We got two of the best in the business in this game today. Our guy, Ricky, and their guy, Joe. Nice. Oh, through the wickets. Perfect double play ball.
That would have been 2 and out of the inning. Instead, it goes E3. So Matt, who's done a nice job, had this one just eat him up. That last hop was off the grass at the very end where it meets the dirt. I'm not sure if that disrupted the angle of the baseball, but in any event, he did not make the play and would have been out of the inning. Instead, now got some trouble in this one.
Well, you're always going to make physical mistakes, and that certainly was one of them. So here's Hayward. He struck out his first trip. 2 on, 1 out. He got a pretty good pitch to hit into left center field and fouled it back.
Jason Hayward makes some contact. Does 52 strikeouts this year and over 400 at bats.
One. Advantage goes to Hayward. Jason, 29 years old. Been a good player. Pops him up. Adam coming on, taking charge as he should. 2 down.
That was really good communication between Adam Engel and especially Tim Anderson, because Tim believes, and justifiably so, that he can catch every pop-up, doesn't matter where it is. And he's running to catch this ball until he hears Adam Engel say, you know what, I'm going to take this one.
You know, remember the shortstop Twins had Gutierrez?
Yes.
He was like that. I've seen him catch one behind second base before. He wanted everything that went up he wanted. So here's Victor Caratini. Tim made a terrific play to get him. Nice pick by Kevin.
Well, that was a really good play, because that changes the dynamics of this inning quite a bit. This is runners at second and third with Caratini hitting and 2 outs. Now they're first and second.
Castillo, nice play.
Well, that's really a good play.
Caratini, as I mentioned. Anderson taking a base hit away from him. He could not check it up. But Joe says he did.
We'll take a look at the side angle. Could have gone either way. It went Caratini's way.
So he's got the catbird seat at 2-0.
Ronaldo taking a close look at second base, where Anthony Rizzo happens to be base running. He has swiped 6 bases this year, 6 out of 10. So for a big man, that's not horrible. So he will on occasion run.
Three and one.
Rather than make this pitch in this situation, be a nice time maybe to go and back a Rizzo for Anderson, because Rizzo was increasing his lead with just about every moment that Ronaldo held the ball. And Tim is set up right behind him just in order to shorten that lead, especially the secondary lead. Might be a nice time to go behind him and try to get him.
He's not stretching it out on that particular pitch. So a full count with 2 on, 2 out. Payoff. He gone. Yes. So he pitches out of a jam, and that'll retire the side. Who certainly needs no introduction to anybody out there, and that is retired Captain Jim Lovell. Nice to have you.
Well, it's nice to be here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I'm really honored to come down here, and and see all the people and see an interstate or city game and enjoy it. So I'm not too sure who I'm voting for or who I'm rooting for.
Well, that ovation that you got, I'll tell you, that was one of the biggest ones we've ever seen here for somebody, and of course it's well deserving. And I was talking to Steve while you were down there taking that ovation. I'm not afraid of many things, but you could never have gotten me to do what you did.
Well, you know, it was. I guess we lived on the edge, and so I enjoyed every minute of it, and especially the Apollo missions.
Could you give us the first one you took? Could you give us a little insight on how you felt? I know you went through tons of training, and you were prepared to get that done.
Yeah, well, actually, the first one was way back in 1965, Gemini 7, a 2-week mission around the Earth to see whether men could live in zero gravity for 2 weeks, and it was a trial.
What did it feel like? I mean, I know it was difficult because you were the first. You had the record for the longest stay in space for a long time. So what did it feel like?
Well, it was zero gravity, and you know, it was actually pretty comfortable in the spacecraft because you're floating. You weren't sitting really on anything. And so,
what were they concerned? You said they were trying to find out if a man could survive for 2 weeks. What were they trying to find out? What effects it would have on you?
Well, they want to know whether, you know, we grew up or we evolved under Earth's gravity.
Yeah.
So is there something in the body that needed the gravity to keep it going? And turns out we didn't need that.
He also was a test pilot, 4,500 hours in jets. That had to be something, getting on a new airplane that first time it's going to go up.
Well, I tested the Phantom, which was the Vietnam War airplane, you know, and I really enjoyed that. Flying to me was fine. But
look, Jim, you had so many thrills. I mean, so many thrills that Hawk and I can't even imagine. What was your greatest thrill?
Actually, the greatest sensation was Apollo 8, to see the Earth as it really is. I could put my thumb up and hide the Earth behind my thumb. Just think, 5 billion people and everything I ever knew behind my thumb.
That's just great.
Yeah,
it really is.
You know, I'll tell you, it's just wonderful. You look terrific.
Well, I'm getting old.
Well, we all are. Hey, you don't have me by that much, I'll tell you that. You got Steve by a lot. But it's just indescribable for us to tell you and thank you for your service and what you did for our country.
Well,
what you did for mankind, really.
And I enjoyed doing it. I mean, it was a pleasure for me to participate in something like that.
Well, how you passing the time today? Watching a lot of TV?
Yeah, lots of it is watching TV, I guess.
Yeah.
But I try to do other things. I'm still doing things like I'm helping a foundation to build a museum for the American sailor up at Great Lakes. So,
tell us a little bit. What does this mean? You have on your Apollo 13 patch, which is a gorgeous patch, by the way. You have Ex Luna Scientia.
From the moon, knowledge. Ex Luna Scientia. And this actually was a mural in the St. Regis Hotel in New York. And the artist, then we asked the artist to make a patch for us.
Gorgeous. It's
so it's
beautiful.
called Seeds of Apollo.
Very nice.
So that's a strikeout to Moncada, 1 out, with Kevin Smith, who doubled to lead off the inning at second. And here comes Lamar, who had a single back in the first. Do you follow baseball very much?
I used to be a part owner of the Astros.
Oh, were you?
I was. When we bought the Astros, it was an almost defunct organization. And a fellow from New York who I knew, he was a shipbuilder, and I helped. I did one of the things on the boats, and he said, "Would you like to own part of this ball club?" So I ended up.
There's a base hit. That's going to score Kevin. Lamar on his way to second base. He's got to hurry.
Uh-oh.
And the ball gets away. So it's a 4-1 Sox lead. Yes.
It's RBI number 16 for Ryan Lamar. Second double of the inning. Sox have a 3-run lead, and Lamar has done just a really nice job since coming to the ball club. I mean, he does so many things well. He makes contact, plays a good outfield, and he gets some big hits and has gotten some big hits.
Did you enjoy your part ownership with the Astros?
Yeah, I owned it just a small amount, but I was on the board there, and that's when we hired Nolan Ryan.
What year was this? What year were we talking?
In the 70s, early 70s, I think it was. Yeah.
So you were out of Colt 45 Stadium. You were into the Astrodome.
We
at that
were in
point?
the Astrodome.
Yeah.
And Judge Hawfines was the fellow that initiated that. He owned the club, and we bought the club from him. And I just owned it, just a smidgen of it. I think 0.5% or 1%.
Well, you should have held on, because things are a lot better now, economy-wise, in baseball than they've ever been.
Yeah, I know. Well,
and also,
but we came up here to Chicago. See, we were down there.
The Astrodome at that time, that was home of the biggest rats in the United States. They had rats that looked like Yorkshire Terriers. Underneath, we used to go in underneath the stands to see them, and they'd be 3 feet long.
Yeah.
We played in the Astrodome. We had 4 exhibition games there when I was playing with the Red Sox, and then we played the All-Star game there in '68. And it was quite different, you know, because it's the dome, and it took you a couple of days to get acclimated.
And of course, the dome, and you wonder if the balls are going to go.
Exactly. And sometimes you couldn't pick them up. You know, you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
But right here, if you're just tuning in, 4-1 good guys on top, bottom of the 4th inning in the first of this big 3-game set. And joining us is former American and world hero, retired Captain Jim Lovell, as they got him picked off. They got him. So, 2 down. We want to thank you for coming up.
Okay. My pleasure.
It's
great.
Great.
Like old times again.
No, it's
great to see you.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Jim. Captain Jim Lovell, astronaut, test pilot, an American hero. Oh, I tell you, there. Now you're talking about a hero. There's a hero.
I tell you what. Let's see if you and I have a chance to sign on for the cogency that he has when we're 90.
Kidding me?
I would take that here during the ball game if somebody offered it.
Jams him. I tell you one thing. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. That's where I'm at. I'm at the point now. I'll go from the family room into the bedroom to get something, and all of a sudden, by the time I get there, I've forgotten what I was looking for. Full counts, Adam. Another foul back.
Well, when you take a look at what Jim Lovell accomplished, it's remarkable. There's only 24 people have flown to the moon. He's one of the first of only 3 people to fly to the moon twice.
There's a chopper. Well, that's a base hit. Good effort. They had a do-or-die play right there with a speedy Adam Engel.
It is a base hit, and justifiably so, and we'll take another look at it. Chris Bryant knew that Adam Engel is as fast as anybody on this team to first base. So he realized that he had one shot. Bare hand throwing the same motion, couldn't get it there.
So here's Tim. Tim has grounded to third and then struck out. Struck out on a high fastball. Yeah, it says that he was interested in rocketry and built flying models as a boy.
Alec Mills loosening in the pen.
Gap in left center. That ball hit into right. And that's a can of corn for Haywood. But we do come up with a run. Base hit by Lamar, and it's 4-1 Sox.
Your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. For the game, Matt Forte threw out the first pitch. Looked to be in really good shape. Lucas Giolito doing the honors.
So Kyle Schwarber will lead it off. He struck out swinging on a good fastball from Lopez. Four runs on 8 hits for us. 1 run on 3 hits for them. Pitching matchups tomorrow, and we'll have that game for you right here over WGN. A couple of big guys out on that bump. Lucas Giolito for us, John Lester for them. And then the finale on Sunday, Carlos Rodon against Kyle Hendricks. Schwarber with one of the quicker, shorter swings in Major League Baseball. Nice foul back. And if Chili Davis does what I think he's going to do with him, he's going to be really a good hitter.
There's a look at Chili.
Yeah, when you get a guy like Schwarber who's that short, that quick, and that strong, you got to get him to focus not behind the plate, but out in front of the plate. Behind the plate is mechanics. Out in front of the plate is approach. Behind the plate is problems. Out in front of the plate are solutions. So how do you cure problems? With solutions.
He's very similar to Daniel Palka. They both have enormous strength. They both swing awfully hard, and they both can hit the ball a long way.
Well, that's if you're going to get Schwarber, you got to get him up there hard.
That's for any real strong left-hander. If you go upstairs and he swings at it, he's not going to catch up. He cannot catch up to 96 upstairs.
That's just letting his aggressiveness work for you, not him. So here's Almora. Albert. Anderson got him with a beautiful play. There's ball 1. I'm still excited over meeting Jim Lovell. Wow.
What he accomplished was absolutely remarkable.
Wow. Lays off that one. You'll find out that most of the good high fastball hitters in the major leagues are Latin. There's a base hit. That one at 96.
Albert's having a nice year. Hitting in the 280s. He plays an exceptional defense.
Every time it seems like I'm watching the postgame show and they go over the Sox and the Cubs, he's making some kind of beautiful catch in the outfield.
Yeah, he's a really solid player.
So here's Murphy. He homered leading off the ball game. Close pitch and did not get it. Gap out there in right center. If they did that intentionally, that's a good move. If they didn't, it's a bad move. You got to make, as a pitcher, you got to make hitters or try to get them to hit at your pace. And if you're a hitter, you got to get the pitcher to work at your pace.
Well, Amore is not exactly a prolific base stealer. He's 1 of 4 this year, so Ronaldo taking a long time while he looks over there.
Well, they're taking a long time hooking up. Again, if it's on purpose, that's okay.
What we've seen from Ronaldo is he'll sail along when he's got nobody on, and when he gets somebody on, that's when he really slows it down.
It's like Quintana.
Yeah, very similar.
Boy, this has got to be on purpose. There's a strike at 96. So 1 on, 1 out, 2 and 1 to count.
Jose Quintana down 3 runs in this one.
Yes, he did. 35 seconds in between pitches right there.
Especially with a non-base runner at first base. I mean, Almora is okay, but he's not going to steal too many bags, as the one in that column would indicate.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys that's going to steal, especially if you hold the ball on him.
This Cub team doesn't run a whole lot. 63 steals this year. They've been gunned down 37 times. And by far, the leading base stealer on this club, Javier Baez, with 21. Nobody else is even in double figures.
Yeah, 63% of the time they've been successful, which is not really a good percentage. Yes, he gone. That little slowdown may have been intentional, and it worked.
Well, the slowdown led to the speed up on the last pitch, and that's what happened. Quickly, he goes from the set, delivers the ball. Murphy can't pull the trigger, but Chad Whitson can. Murphy thought it was outside. He said that ball's off the plate. He might have a point there, except it was a called third.
So here's Chris Bryant. He's gone out to right, and twice he's grounded to short. Takes that one at 97. (97 to 83).
It's be a nice inning to end before Rizzo comes to bat. He's in the on-deck circle, and he's 2 for 2. Although they haven't been hit hard, it's still 2 for 2.
Breaking ball, strike. He's got a bigger plate at 1 and 2.
Wellington wanted it upstairs. Ronaldo got it upstairs, and Bryant able to stay alive and foul it back. You see him given the target. He threw it right to the glove.
Well, that's exactly where he should have tried to get him right there. Good job by Bryant.
Next strikeout will be triple digits for Chris Bryant.
Chops that one foul.
Jose Abreu still troubled by the infection. Hopefully that will clear up. It's not certain yet if he will play anymore. That infection was kind of nasty. He had it taken care of in Cleveland, but it's left him with a little bit of a limp.
Got in on him, made a good pitch. Bryant has done a good job at fouling off 2 tough pitches.
One thing he hasn't seen, and the one thing probably Ronaldo would like to go for, you got him in swing mode. This is a man that does strike out quite a bit. A breaking pitch out of the zone, down and out, either a slider or his curveball is going to end this at bat.
Hard high, slow low.
Can he get it there?
If you notice, we haven't, with all the strikeouts in baseball that we have seen, which have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't recall us seeing fewer breaking balls in the dirt swung at. That's just foul. Don't get me wrong, there always will be a lot, but for some reason, to me, it just seems like there has not been as many. I've seen more on high fastballs.
Yeah, many more on high fastballs because pitchers are going there more times than not.
Well, we talked about it for years. A lot of pitchers and a lot of pitching coaches don't understand. It's easier to cover in and out than it is up and down.
Yeah, very much so. Looks like he's going back to the fastball.
This way, if you miss, you got to mess up. He got it. He gone. Halfway home. We lead it 4-1.
That's for 3 days only, October 5th through the 7th. The home of White Sox baseball will be one of a kind, a 9-hole golf course offering fans the opportunity to tee it up from the outfield concourse or the upper deck. To register for a tee time, visit stadiumlinks.com.
Here's Jose Rondon leading off our half of the 5th. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. Two. You know, we were talking about it's easier to cover in and out than it is up and down. One thing about it, that is certainly magnified when the count is 0-2 or 1-2.
Yeah. Cubs pen up and going. Dylan Maples.
Yap out there in left center. Good pitch. 1 out.
Jose didn't like it, but as he got closer to the plate, I mean, this ball had most of the plate.
Yeah.
This is a perfect pitch.
The great Ted Williams always said, when you get 2 strikes, don't let the umpire decide your fate. Here's Javi. He's 0 for 2. Don't leave it in the hands of the umpire.
Well, unfortunately, what we've seen this year, Yoan Moncada is getting better and better, but he still leaves a lot of decisions in the hands of the umpire. And some of them, he gets rung up on pitches out of the zone, but you're letting him decide your at bat.
Yeah. Just tuning in, they scored 1 in the first. We scored 3 in the second. 3-run homer by Kevin Smith. And then in the fourth, RBI single by Ryan Lamar. Talking about strikeouts, we are leading the world in strikeouts. Counting the 6 today, we have struck out this year 1,491 times. That's the most in major leagues, and it's the most in White Sox franchise history.
A little more contact. Hopefully next year there will be a few guys that will put the bat on the ball consistently.
Ate him up. Good pitch inside. So that is out number 2.
Matt started off that run of 5 straight hits in the second inning that led to the 3 runs.
First pitch strike to Matt, who singled and scored leading off. That was the leadoff single in the second. He scored, of course, ahead of that 3-run homer by Kevin.
Jaime Garcia has joined Dylan Maples.
Mark Ripperger brings him up, and we have completed 5, and we lead it by 3. It's a good store.
Yes, it is.
Anthony Rizzo. 2 little duck snorts, 1 for a single, 1 for a double. We talked about the strikeouts. Now on the other side of that page, the pitching, as they got the shift on for Rizzo. It's off the end of the bat, but still a line drive into right.
See, I've told you this for years. He's got 2 duck snorts and a line drive. The line drive went right at Avi, so it all evens out.
There's your evening it out. I'm glad that he got that on this camera up here.
He had a nice shield there. That was good.
The pitching, in the last 15 years, our Sox have made 1,386 quality starts since the start of the 03 season. And that is tied with the New York Mets for the most in Major League Baseball during that span, and 56 more than Oakland, the next closest American League team. That's a bunch.
That's pretty impressive. But that's a testament to a couple of different things. Number one, the draft people, the development people, and the coaching staffs. Consistently, the Sox can turn out some pitchers.
Breaking ball.
Well, that was the best breaking ball he's thrown today.
Yeah.
You keep it right there. There's not a right-hander in this country that's going to hit that. Take a look at the late break on this one. It's there. It's there. It's not there.
He gone. 2 down.
Take your family of 4 to one more White Sox game this season. With the family 4-pack, you'll receive 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas for as low as $49. Upper and lower level packages available. Purchase yours at whitesox.com/4packs today.
Ben Zobrist is grounded out twice to first, once one for an error, but he hit a rocket down there. But it was an error.
Ronaldo just keeps getting better and better. I mean, each and every time out, he appears to be learning enough to just improve this performance over the last one.
Well, you know yourself, being a former pitcher, first of all, he's not afraid of the bat. And when you're not afraid of the bat, you can go through a learning trend up. If you're afraid of it, you're not. You're going to go through a learning trend down.
Well, then you're 2-0-3-1 your entire performance, and when that happens, it's a lot of runs.
It's amazing how many pitchers today are afraid of the bat. And a boy, Matty, nice pick. And a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the sixth, still leading 4-1.
Which is a no-hitter versus the Twins at Oakland. Dave McNally becomes the first of 4 Orioles to win 20 games. You're not going to see that again. Steve Carlton becomes the National League all-time strikeouts leaders in 1981. So 1970, 71, and 81. A lot of things happened on September 21st.
I faced all 3 of those guys.
That was McNally, Palmer, Cuellar, and Dobson. Those were the 4 20-game winners.
Pat Dobson.
How about that?
He was like you. He was a breaking ball pitcher.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that Vita Blue. What Charlie Finley did to that guy was a sin. Charlie could have cared less. Vita Blue, one of the greatest young pitchers you will ever see.
Looked to me early like he was probably headed for the Hall of Fame.
No question.
Unbelievable stuff. Good hit from both sides of the plate.
One of the few switch hitting pitchers. I'll tell you what, we played him in spring training one year out in Tucson. I hit 2 home runs off of him in spring training. So we go, after the season starts, we go out to Oakland and play him, and he's pitching. I go to the plate, first inning. Dave Duncan was the catcher. He said, Hawk, he said, I think Vita remembers Tucson. And I looked at him, I said, well, what the hell do you want from me? He struck me out 4 times that game. He had a great fastball, and he had a snapdragon curveball. He didn't throw as hard as Sam McDowell, nor was his curveball. To this day, Sam McDowell had the greatest stuff I've ever seen. But Vita was close. He was close up in there. And then, of course, Steve Carlton, he was a legend. I faced him in spring training and also in the World Series in '67. There's a base hit. But back in those days, he didn't have that slider. He was just straight fastball and a big curveball. When he came up with that slider, it was all over. 27 games he won one year.
In 1972, he was 27-10 for a team that won 59 games. That was the Philadelphia Phillies of '72. And if you got anybody else on that team, you killed him. If you got Carlton, who completed 30 games, he probably was going to beat you.
But you know, in '86, I brought him here. And the reason I did that was not to win games. It was to teach, because we had a lot of young pitchers, teach them a work ethic.
He had an unbelievable work ethic. So Jose Quintana is done for the day. As he walks off, we'll step out. We'll be back. Pick of these Cubs, 14th round, 2011. There you look at the numbers. On for the 8th time. He's 1-0, ERA at 9. The opponent's batting average at .222. When that happens, it's usually walks. 5 walks in 5 innings. And Daniel Palka comes on to swing a bat. He's going to pinch hit for Kevin Smith. Tough game. He hit a 3-run homer. He hit a double. He scored 2 runs. And thank you. We appreciate the effort. Now we'll turn it over to a guy who can hit it a long way.
Grab some bench. Big hack.
Maple's nice-sized pitcher at 6'2", 230 pounds. Started his career as a starter with this Cub organization, but quickly moved into the role of a pensman. That came in 2015. He's been there ever since. So the White Sox rookie home run leaders all time. Jose Abreu at the top with Ron Kittle right behind him. Zeke Benura, Matt Davidson, and Daniel Palka tied at 26.
Well, Kitty, with those 35 his rookie year in '83, I can tell you one thing, of all those guys, he led all those guys in distance, footage.
He hit it a long way.
Oh, Kitty was outside of Frank Howard. Kitty could hit the ball as far as anybody. He and Buzinski that year. And of course the leader offensively was Harold Baines. Harold, one of the great clutch hitters certainly in White Sox history, and one of the great clutch hitters in his time in the American League. And I don't care who's pitching.
And hopefully Harold gets into Hall of Fame. I hope that that is his destiny.
He's got a shot.
Yeah.
That ball hit hard. He just looks up. You can. Put it on the board. Yes. Yes. It is 6-1.
Well, forget that tie at 26. Daniel Palka's hit his 27th. It's just an amazing run for the young man. He got a curveball that time. He was mystified by a curveball in the first pitch. Maples tried to go back there a second time, only this one stayed over the inner portion of the plate, and the line drive rocket was gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's just about as quick as one can leave the earth right there.
He is astonishingly strong.
Yeah, you might tie that for getting out time when the ball, he left the bat to when it hit the seats.
James Shields might have his career ended if he keeps allowing Daniel Palka to grab him after he hits a home run. First of all, he's hitting a lot of home runs, and second of all, Daniel's really strong. We'll take a look at this. It's a curveball, and watch. It comes up spinning, doesn't break a great deal, and that's all it took.
Oh, that was a cookie right
It was
there.
right in the middle of the plate and out of here quickly.
You know, a guy who could hit some of the hardest line drives out of the ballpark that you'll ever see was a guy named Dave Winfield.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, he ain't good.
That's outside.
So you can close the book on Jose Quintana. Went 5+ innings, gave up 5 runs, 9 hits, didn't walk anybody, fanned 8, and he's on the downside of this 6-1 score. Not the happiest man in the ballpark is that man, Jose Quintana.
And there's a base hit. So good speed aboard.
Ryan Lamar's having a good day today.
Well, so far this is doing my heart good.
It's been a very entertaining game to this point.
Indubitably.
Getting some excellent pitching from Lopez. The long ball certainly in attendance. The defense has been very good. Tim Anderson putting on a defensive clinic at shortstop today.
And it all started top of the first inning when Daniel Murphy homered.
That was it.
First of 3. We mentioned tomorrow a couple of big guys, John Lester and Lucas Giolito. Then finale on Sunday, Carlos Rodon against Kyle Hendricks. Tomorrow's game will be right back here over WGN, and Sunday over NBC Sports Chicago.
A breaking ball got away from Caratini, and it will go as a wild pitch.
Very wild pitch.
I think there's probably some boys in Pittsburgh interested in this game. I might be wrong, but that's where Milwaukee plays tonight. And that ball skirts away.
I'll tell you, Thibuku, who's the general manager there? I'll tell you what, he's been doing everything he could to bring in some help.
Well, well, the amount of moves that they've made late have been unbelievable.
Sure. Craig Counsell and that group, and of course, one of my all-time favorite people, Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
Uecker is loving. I talked to him. We texted each other the other day, and I'll tell you what, he is just so happy watching those kids.
I was going to
play.
say, I'm sure he's really enjoying this year.
Oh yeah, yeah, he is. Look at this. Look at this. They're going to wave him around. He's going to score. And it's 7-1.
3 for 3 with 2 driven in for Ryan Lamar, giving him 17 for the year. And I think Joe Madden has seen enough from Dylan Maples at this point. He's going to make a move and get him out of the ball game. There's another curveball, and it winds up in right center field to drive home a run. So Maples walks out, and we will also. We'll be back. Ryan Lamar at first base. There's nobody out. 4 straight hits here in the 6th inning, and there you look at the numbers. On for the 29th time. ERA up over 6, a 3-7 record.
7-1 ball game. Don't not stop now, boys. Adam. He just missed a 3-run homer back in the 2nd inning. Just missed it. Then he had a little infield single in the 4th. So the Rangers fired Jeff Bannister.
They did, and you know it's been a terrible year for the Rangers, and I talk with Jeff a lot. I know you talk with Jeff a lot. I think he's a real good baseball man.
He's a terrific manager.
And I think, for me, a little premature, but look, John Daniels gets to make the call. He made it. And Jeff Bannister, and we're hoping he finds another job, because I think you and I agree he's a quality man.
Yes, he is. Well, that's high. That's a big league pop-up right there. And here comes Almora. And that is out number 1. But I'll tell you something about managing is the mark of a manager is not wins and losses. The mark of a good manager is how hard are the eyes, how hard do the guys play for him, because he can only play with what the general manager gives him.
Well, you know what's interesting, and you know Tom Hamilton as well as I do. Tom is a wonderful broadcaster for the Cleveland Indians.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's just a great broadcaster. We were talking about the series in Cleveland. It just ended. And he said, we played the Tigers, we played Kansas City, we played a few of those teams. He goes, one of the things that jumps out at you about your ball club is the fact that, yeah, we won the first 2 games, but you guys hustled every play. He said, your team has not let down 1 iota from any point of this season. He said, you guys are actually going out there and making it tough for our team. And, of course, last night was a good ball game to win, but the Sox played that series as well as they could possibly play, and nobody let down.
Well, Kenny and Rick got their job cut out for them because they made some great deals getting some young talent and position players. Now they got to get a bullpen. I don't care because we got some. I mean, some of the best young arms in baseball down there in our system. And those guys, some of those guys can be groomed to be relievers.
I talked with Kenny about this very subject, and what he said is they're going to spend a great deal of time late in the season and into the postseason talking about that bullpen.
This should be a rack 'em up, and it is. But some damage is done. Quick number goes up on that board.
I think they're going to want to take a look at first base. I think they want to take a look at first base. It was not a particularly good throw.
No.
Murphy kind of lifts it over there.
He's safe.
Looks to me like before that ball was touched the glove in the middle of the glove, he was on the bag. I think Tim thought that was the case, and Ricky Renteria is going to have the umpires take a look at it.
Yeah, but getting back to the that's the reason you see guys like when he was in Tampa Bay, Joe Madden, but that stuff he was running out there. He was actually on the field running a AAA ball club out there. He had good bullpen and has some good pitching, but they busted their butts for him.
They did that. That was noticeable with that team because if any team in the major leagues can overachieve, that Tampa Bay team consistently overachieved.
Yeah, well, and that's one reason Rick Renteria is absolutely the perfect man for what our team is trying to do. Our guys, they love him, and they are busting their butts for him. First of all, if you don't bust your butt, you're not going to be in a White Sox uniform very long.
No.
And you sure won't be in that particular game very long.
No, Ricky's done that a few times this year where he's just taken down guys. It's not, he doesn't make a big deal about it, but he lets them know that that particular type of behavior is unacceptable. And he tells you it's unacceptable, first of all, by telling you just that, but also by taking you out of the game. And they're taking a long time to look at this one in New York.
There's my golfing buddy, Joe West. My two rules in baseball. First one, you got to catch the ball. Next is don't mess with Joe West.
They called him out at first. So it does go as a double play out of the inning, but not before the Sox add a few more. 7-1. And Ronaldo Lopez keeps sailing right along. He's certainly been backed by his offense and his defense.
This has been a crisp ball game in that respect, as it'll be Hayward, Caratini, and Schwarber. High and wide.
We'll take another look. The throw is very good to second base.
The slide was beautiful right there by Lamar.
And the return throw, not great, but they said in New York that he got it there in time.
Boo. Boo. I thought at first he was out, but he was clearly safe right there.
Jace Fry loosening in the pen.
Wide open left side there, and the ball gets away. He was making the turn anyway, so we'll see.
It is a two-base hit. The shift is on, and there's nobody home on the left side. Brian has some problems with it.
You know, the ego is a great thing, and it can be a big asset or a big killer. As time goes on with this shift that everybody puts on, I'll tell you something. Guys are going to have to swallow their egos and go the other way.
Well, if they do that, there's lots of hits there as David Bodie comes on to pinch run.
Caratini 0 for 2. Anderson made a real good play to get him in the second, then he struck out in the fourth. Hi, Palka. Timmy's got him.
Chicago White Sox Charities would like to thank Mazda of Orland Park for donating a Mazda CX-3 for this year's car raffle. Visit Mazda of Orland Park online at zoomzoomnation.com.
So here's Schwarber 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, 2 on high fastballs. Seven runs, 12 hits for us. 1 run on 5 hits for them. Strike. We'll take it.
And Schwarber didn't think it was very good. Talks to Chad Whitson. That ball was a bit off the plate. Pitch number 104 on the way for Ronaldo, who has been brilliant again here today. This is the 6th straight start.
Oh, he's thoroughbred.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Ate him up. He's made some really good pitches today.
I like what Matt Davidson did there. The reason being that he could have flipped it to Ronaldo, but he saw that Schwarber wasn't running very well, so you might as well take it yourself.
As you know, that's one of my pet peeves. When a first baseman can take it himself, take it yourself.
Because if you don't throw the baseball, it's really hard for you to drop it on your way to first base.
I'll tell you.
But you can certainly throw it away.
That's one of my pet peeves right there. And you know what? It's really not their fault because it's not hammered into their heads enough.
That needs to be stressed, certainly, because you can save yourself a lot of grief by doing that.
Well, back in the 60s, playing first base, and on that play right there, if he had flipped that to Ronaldo coming over, that'd have been a dozen golf ball fine. And that's what they didn't find you money too much back. They find you like golf balls, a dozen golf balls.
So Manaea and Fry, that's been the winning combination in the back end for the Sox. And although when the bullpen started to come together, Ricky Renteria said there was no definitive closer. We're going to close by circumstance. We're going to close by matchups. We're going to do all those things, and it's worked out very well, and that has been the back end of the pen, Manaea and Fry.
Well, what Kurt Hassler has had to work with, I think he's done a terrific job with what he's had to work with.
Yeah. I mean, assembling a bullpen is, if there's not one definitive key for assembling your baseball team, the assemblance of your bullpen is one of the major factors to whether you're going to win or not.
It's got to be the first factor.
Because with no pen, you have zero chance.
I don't care how good the starters are. When the agents have made it an agent's game, which they have, if you don't have a bullpen, you lose. Look at this. He's got it. He's made some really good pitches.
Oh,
seventh inning stretch. We lead it 7-1.
Been brilliant today. I mean, everything has been right where he had to be. Gave up the leadoff home run to Murphy. That was it. 5 hits overall, 7 innings. He was just brilliant. He's got a 7-1 lead. That's probably going to be the last pitch he throws. But what a job Ronaldo Lopez did today. His ball club very appreciative. Joe McEwing comes over, and everybody's ecstatic about the man who 6 straight times has gone out there. His ERA about 1.5 over the last 6 starts. Doesn't get too much better than that. Randy Rosario comes in the ball game for the Cubs. He's on for the 40th time. He's 4-0 this year. Been a nice year for him. ERA of 3.18. He's had 2 save opportunities. 50% of the time he's been successful. On his batting average of 244. That's pretty decent. Chris Bryant has moved from third base to right field. David Bodie checks in the game at third base. He came on to pinch run.
So here's Rondon. Jose, glad to see Quintana gone. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Souvenir right side. You know, we're talking about the bullpen, and it's gotten to the point now that it's a foregone conclusion, or it should be, to every club. That when you make a deal, you got to make a deal, especially if you're giving away a blue chip, so to speak.
Throw in a Pensman or 2?
No, good arms, because you're going to have to develop your own, because nobody is going to trade you good bullpen. Nobody.
Well, we have seen from various clubs, they'll take guys, and this was...
Well, they overpay for them so bad it's unbelievable.
Well, they did that for bona fide closers and premier setup men. Yeah, you'll have to overpay, because otherwise you can't get them. But they've taken a lot of hard throwers and put them at the back end of pens, and they've worked out real well.
There's a rocket by Jose down in there for extra bases. And in essence, really, the first prerequisite of being on hard floor, upper 90s. But again, or having a guy with great control like a Dennis Eckerson, which you're not going to have many guys like Eckerson. He can throw it through a teacup.
Takes it right down the line. And some things that fans don't look at a whole lot is the rotation of the umpires. And on that play, Joe West has to go down. He's got to go down the line, take a look, and see how the ball is handled by Zobrist. With that, with the play maybe developing, that means Chad Whitson has to go and cover third base, which is exactly where he was when the ball came in. So nice rotation by the umpires.
I can tell you this, after watching Joe for over 30 years, if you're going to be on his crew, you better be in the right position. You better be in the right position. You better hustle, or you're not going to be an umpire very long either. And there's a base hit, just a bullet. That a boy, Avi. Avi now 1 for 4.
With those 2 base hits, because Rondon and Garcia did not have a hit before that at bat, everybody in this lineup except for Tim Anderson today has at least 1 hit.
Yeah, but Timmy's throwing some leather.
Boy, he's been terrific at shortstop.
So here's Matt. He started off that 3-run second with a leadoff single. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's been a long time since I've seen a guy trend upward as fast as Tim Anderson defensively.
No, this year has been a remarkable transition from what we saw at the beginning to where Tim is right now.
That guy that you watched play for the last 3 games can play a little bit out there too.
You're talking about Mr. Lindor?
That's him.
How'd you like to have offensively? Well, defensively, offensively, take your choice. Lindor and Ramirez is your double play combination. That's pretty good.
Well, you got to go back, I think, to Alex Rodriguez and Boone, the second base.
But Boone didn't have the equal power to these 2 guys, but those 2 guys were really good.
Oh, very good.
These 2 guys can do everything, including steal bases. They both hit mid-30s home runs.
Well, Alomar and Vizquel were the best defensive.
Yeah, they were wonderful, but they couldn't match these guys offensively.
No. No, Robbie was the greatest second baseman I've ever seen. He could beat you any way you wanted to get beat. And Vizquel was just a good, steady offensive player, but those 2 guys, I've never seen a combo like that. The 3-1. Back to the middle and into center field. And it's an 8-1 ball game. Don't stop now, boys.
Second hit of the day for Matt. So apparently the adjustment in mustache, beard, Fu Manchu, and whatever else he had going for him on the road trip, he's liking that clean-shaven approach. He has a little bit of a mustache still, but he's swinging it well.
It does not hurt to have some superstitions.
No, and just about every one of the baseball players do and have.
Whoops. Castillo I wish you and I could tell them over the air some of the superstitions that you've seen that I've seen.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's insane.
Yeah, it is. Rosario started his career with Minnesota, was claimed off waivers by these Cubs. Turned out to be a good waiver claim. That was last year, November 3rd. So got themselves quality left-handed reliever off the waiver wire.
And there is a base hit. They're going to hold Ivy. And wisely so.
Time now for our fourth drive of the game, and who else but the man who's been driving him all year long. Daniel Palka, 110.4 miles an hour exit velocity, 17 degrees. That's the lowest launch angle we've seen in a while. That ball just stayed in the air long enough to leave the ballpark, and it left it in a heartbeat. So Jim Hickey to the mound to talk with Rosario, who's given up 4 straight hits.
You know, you were talking about him being a good pickup. The Cubs are not short on good leadership in their front office.
No, they're not.
They are very strong, and they have very strong in the scouting department as well. That's the reason they're going to be around for a while, and that's the reason that our guys decided to go out and get to the point where in 2020 we're going to be competitive, very competitive.
I would certainly think so.
Palka has become somewhat of a phenomenon.
Well, if he's not careful, he's going to become a cult hero if he's not there already.
Well, the first game we saw him, I told you I loved his trigger, his leg kick.
But his ability to hit it to all 3 fields and clear the fences easily, that's something that's a gift.
For all you young hitters out there, if you're learning how to hit and you love baseball, you're better off making that leg kick too early than too late. There, I'll tell you what, that is a really good trigger. I remember a long time ago when the Cardinals went over and played the Japanese team after the World Series, after they had won. Salahara was on the Japanese team. And he wasn't even, he was Taiwanese. But anyway, I remember Bob Gibson, the great Bob Gibson, as he gets him. And Gibson said, well, we were told that he had a high leg kick, but we were not told just how fast he could get it down.
He had over 800 home runs.
He was a big guy.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him. We didn't play against him. We went over to play the Dodgers, but the Japanese team had come over to play and stay about a week or 10 days in the Dodger town down there in Vero. And we were talking one day, and he had shoulders on him like this, like Palka.
You talked about that front office, and everyone obviously has heard of Theo Epstein. He's been wonderful for them. He's the president of baseball ops. Jed Hoyer, general manager, executive vice president. One of the guys you should hear more of, and you've heard a lot of them if you're with the Cubs organization, is Jason McLeod. He's just wonderful at player scouting.
There's a shot base hit. That's just a bullet. That's just going to score Ivy. Was 9-1.
That's 3 hits for Yohan Moncada, and he's starting to swing the bat a whole lot better from the right side, because now he's starting to get some at-bats from the right side.
Well, he's going to be a good offensive player.
No, there's no doubt about it. As he drives home a run, that's his 61st run driven in. And so this is going to change things around as there's a pitching change. And we'll step out and be back. Presented by Wintrust. You have a chance to win a guaranteed jackpot of at least $50,000. Play along with an online ticket purchase at whitesox.com/SoxSplit. Sales will begin at 3:10 on Saturday, that's tomorrow, and last through the bottom of the 6th inning. Remember, a minimum of $50,000 as James Norwood comes in the ballgame. He's got the bases loaded.
He's also got Ryan Lamar, who's 3 for 3 today with 2 RBIs. Good rip at it, looking for it, got it, and just underneath it.
This is the 2nd inning in the ball game where the Sox have 5 hits. So when they started hitting the ball, they hit it a lot. 5 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, and 5 again here in the 7th. That's a lot of hits. We're at 17 of them, 9 runs, 17 hits.
Two on, 1 out. And the 1-2 pitch. Just a bit tardy right there. And the count evens at 2. Nice approach to that pitch.
3 hits will tie the career high of Ryan Lamar. That accomplished against the Yankees back on August 29th.
Full count. Engel on deck. And there's a souvenir right side. If you're just tuning in, Daniel Murphy led off the ball game against Lopez. Hit a high towering home run just inside the foul pole down the right field line, so it was quickly 1-0 Cubs. And that has been all she wrote up to this point for them. High in the right field. There's a tag. And he's going to score. And it's 10-1. That's a good at bat right there for Ryan.
He battled, finally got a pitch he could hit in the air. His 3rd RBI of the day, giving him 18 to go with his 3 for 3.
Here's Adam. He's 1 for 3. He just missed a 3-run homer back in the 2nd inning. Taking Zobrist right back up against the fence in left field. That at bat right there. That's what a manager loves to see. What you framed it right. A battling at bat.
Not giving anything up. Doesn't matter if it's a blowout in this one. It matters the at bat.
Fouled off 2 real tough pitches. As we talk about, you don't teach guys how to hit at the major league level. You teach them how to be dangerous. That is high, high. And Almora makes the catch. But another crooked number goes up on that board, and we lead it by 9.
And it's 2 more with these Cubs right here tomorrow and Sunday. And then on Monday, Cleveland Indians come to town. We renew acquaintances with them. That is the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Ram.
So here is Murphy.
Jace Fry with some pretty decent numbers.
First pitch strike.
That's one of his strongest points right there, is the ability to drop a curveball over the plate on the first pitch, because 90-some% of the time it's just taken.
At least 90-some.
I mean, if you throw it for a strike, it's pretty much a gift.
Unless it's a hanger, very seldom do you ever see a hitter swing at first pitch breaking ball if it's just decent.
Ryan Cordell checks in the game in right field.
And there is a solid single.
That's the 6th of the Cub hits today, second by Murphy.
And that's going foul. So the line on our 24-year-old right-hander, Ronaldo Lopez. 7 innings. 1 run, 5 hits, no walks. 8 punch-outs.
Just a wonderful performance in a big game for him.
I was getting ready to say big stage.
This is a big stage. You got over 34,000 people here, and a lot of attention paid on this series because of, let's face it, where the Cubs are.
Going 2 to Bodie. O'Brien, I should say. He went to right field from third base. But no, he's fun to watch. He really is fun to watch.
Sox pen up and going. Jose Ruiz. Along with Ian Hamilton, it appears, inhabiting the pen.
That's low. Boy, Santiago just battled him last night, didn't he?
Boy, he threw very well. He
really
did.
I love him. I love him.
He's 2 for 2 in saves. He'll take the ball anytime you want to give it to him.
Anytime.
Never complains about anything. If you start him, that's good. If you throw him in long relief, well, that's okay. You want to put him in a closer situation, he can do that. I mean,
he's a great teammate, too.
He's the jack of all trades in that pen.
He is one of our most valuable pitchers. There's a shot base hit.
MLB At Bat is your #1 Sox app, and you can customize your experience to get White Sox home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, more, and also you got some news. Download MLB At Bat today.
And here comes Ricky. And he's going to the pin.
I think it's a good move right here, and the simple reason is that Jace Fry is one of your best backhand bullpensmen, and you don't want to use him here in a game where you already lead 10-1. You save his pitches. He can come tomorrow if you really need him to, and we will step out as he walks out. The out. Jose Ruiz comes on for the 5th time. His ERA at 3.38. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Because of the walks, 2 and 2 2/3 innings, the whip is up there a lot higher than he would like. So you throw a couple of ground balls, get yourself out of the inning. That wouldn't be bad. Taylor Davis pinch hitting.
First pitch strike to Davis. Big gap in left center field.
That fastball at 98, Davis let it all go.
He did that.
Hit that one out of the way out of the ballpark.
You're just tuning in. We scored 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, and 3 in the 7th. They scored their run in the 1st. Ruiz rushing it up there pretty good.
He's got a good arm. I mean, when you can hit 98 on a good day, 99, you keep it in the zone, you're going to be pretty tough.
He gone. Well, there's always exceptions to every rule in baseball or in sports or whatever. So take another look at the strikeout. He just blows it away. And they got it in a good spot. But for right-handed pitchers, managers today, when they bring in somebody from that bullpen, as I said, there are always exceptions, but this is for right-handed pitching. They want the big arms out there they bring in.
Oh,
they
yeah.
want big arms. Now, left-handers are a little different. You can have some soft tossers coming out of that pen if you're left-handed.
Yeah, the right-handers are going to be from 95 miles an hour up.
Yeah. Baez struck out in the 1st. He's 0 for 3.
Sox been up and going. Hamilton and Bummer. Hamilton up and has been up. Aaron Bummer just joined him.
I mentioned Baez 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts today, but I'll tell you one thing. There's always somebody in there who's a good hitter most of the time, who's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and he's the guy that had to wear it. Our guys that make some good pitches today.
If you get to the 2-strike range, you just throw him something out of the zone, he will swing at most everything.
And that's going foul and caught. So 2 down.
Long run for Ryan Cordell. He's able to make the catch, and actually probably was a step in fair territory when he did it. So a nice play. And on the play, Murphy moves to 3rd. So runners at the corners now, but they're 2 outs.
Well, he framed it right. He had a long way to go. He made that play look easy.
He can play center field. I mean, he's a good outfielder.
So here is the veteran, a solid player, Ben Zobrist.
I would think as hard as Ben's been hitting it, he's been hitting it very hard. Matt Davidson should move behind Bryant at first. Right now he's in front of him, and Zobrist has been crushing it. He's just staying right there in front of him for the time being.
Two and 0.
David Bodie in the on-deck circle. He came on a pinch run for Jason Hayward. He stays in the game and chance to get his first at bat. Well, he's had some big hits for the Cubs this year.
Here's a strike, 3-1. First of 3 if you're just joining us, just getting home.
Here comes Don Cooper. He wants a word with Rees.
That's the first walk issued by our pitching today. Well, what a mess that guy right there has been to our organization.
No doubt about it.
For a long time. I mean, he has done some absolute wonders for pitchers who were struggling. You ought to see one of the highlights for me at spring training is going down on the other side when he's working with these guys.
Standing behind the pitchers when he's in that long line of pitchers?
No, when he's just working, say he's working with Jimmy Jones or Sammy Smith. And what he's doing is he's giving them situations. You know, this guy, you got him 1 and 2. Now let's miss right out here with a fastball, or let's miss down with a slider. Whatever. And the way he phrases it, you know how his accent is.
I know. So Bodie with his first at bat. This is not a pinch hitting opportunity, but as a pinch hitter this year, he's 5 for 11 with a homer and 7 driven in. Terrence Gore is going to pinch run at first base, and he's a burner.
Oh, boy, he's burned us a few times when he was in that Kansas City uniform. So the run scores, and it's 10-2.
We'll watch it again. This is going to be a wild pitch. It was way off the plate. And the second Cub run comes home.
One and over the count with 2 down, 2 on. Ducks on the pond. Checks up, takes a strike with it. Murphy's face right there looked like he may have had a strawberry and had a slide on it. Boy, that's a bad feeling. You got a strawberry and you know you got a slide.
Yeah, that's not good. Even with sliding pads.
There's a line shot. Stay in the air. Got a glove on it. That's going to score a pair. And it's 10-4. Good effort.
So Bodie drives in a couple of runs, giving him 29 this year. An attempt by Cordell cannot secure the baseball. Here comes Ricky Renteria, and this is going to mean a pitching change normally.
Well, you know, we got two managers in this game. Their players don't quit. Ricky's boys don't quit, and Madden's boys don't quit.
And with Aaron Bummer coming in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Guaranteed rate field this season, People's Gas will make a donation in support of White Sox charities. Since 1859, People's Gas has kept life moving in Chicago through their tradition of giving back to the community. Visit People's Gas on Facebook and follow on Twitter at People's Gas for more information today. And we got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Aaron Bummer. He inherits Bodie at first base. There's 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Cubs have scored 3 in the inning. There you look at the numbers, on for the 34th time.
Victor Caratini. The catcher is the hitter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Dutch Showalter, Orioles. He gone.
That's 2. It's a 2-manager Friday.
Well, most of the time. Most of the time. Not all the time. Most of the time. The wrong guy gets fired.
That will happen on occasion.
Gap out there in right center field. As we said earlier, the making of a manager, a good manager, is not wins and losses. It's how hard his boys play for him, because now the mark of a general manager is wins and losses, because he's the ones that put fannies and seat in the uniforms. That one at 94. Made a good approach to that pitch. Meanwhile, count hangs at 2-2 with 2 down. Here in the top of the 8th inning. Nice little one-handed play.
Nice play by the ball guy.
Yeah.
Sitting
Very
right next
casual.
to the dugout. Very casual. One-hand stab. And someone in the crowd telling him, nice job.
Full count, no walks. They can swing the bat. And right there, he'll swing it. Second walk of the inning with a big lead. So here's Schwarber. 25 longers, 58 knocked in. And he takes ball one. There's the strike. Moncada way back out there on the grass. And there's another strike. That was the one. Both the last two pitches were the one.
Thigh high and below fastballs, lefty lefty. Those are pretty good pitches right there, 2 and 3.
That's into right field. Can of corn. And that will end it. But they get on the board with 3. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
Tim Anderson. So when you think of garages, think Danley's. I know Tim always does. And we'll take a look at a couple sterling plays. He had a long way to go. Fortunately, Caratini's running, and he guns him down at first base. This one. Difficult play, the wind taking it, and Tim was able to put it away for the catch. And what a day it's been defensively. So, Tim Ardanley's defensive player of the game.
No question about that. That, I don't know. You go back in the Wayback Machine in your mind and tell me somebody who goes in the hole as hard as he goes to his right and gets that much on it to first base.
Oh, well, that's, and lately he's not only gotten a whole lot out of it, he's been wonderfully accurate.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about just the velocity. That's a fair ball right down this long peg, and he can't pick it. Tough play right there for Bodie.
That was Davis at first, who came on to pinch hit. So it goes as a base hit.
Should. It should. Yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen in all my years, almost all parts of 7 decades, soon to be 8, a shortstop go to his right that far, that fast, and get that much on it to first base.
Yeah, he's been something special as Terrence Gore checks in the game in left field. David Bodie will play shortstop.
Rondon, he's 1 for 4 with a run scored.
Ian Happ has checked in the game at third base. So wholesale changes offensively for the Cubs.
One and 2. And once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow evening right here on WGN Sports. Game 2, it'll be a couple of big guys out there. Lucas Giolito and John Lester. Lester 16-6, Giolito 10-11. Then in the finale on Sunday, Carlos Rodon against Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks 12-11, Rodon 6-6. Carlos has pitched better than that 6-6.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. There's Kyle Hendricks, who's got a wonderful changeup and magnificent control.
I like him. Yeah, he is nice what pitcher. You call a quote pitcher.
He is a nice one.
He used to hate to face guys like that with that good changeup. Watch out. Touch him up, Jose. Big gap in left center. We have 10 runs on 15 hits if you're just joining us. They have 4 runs on 8 hits. Chop down. Foul. Pretty good lead. That's a chop foul. Three home runs in the game. Daniel Murphy leading off the top of the first inning, cranked out his 12th. And Kevin Smith with a couple of guys aboard in the second inning for us, cranked out that 3-run homer. That's his second. Daniel Palka getting his first at bat in the game. Hit a bullet out of here. I mean, a rocket.
I'd remember Brian Dunsing from his days in the bullpen with the Minnesota Twins.
He had more good days against us than bad days.
He did. They had a similar left-hander that became their closer, Glenn Perkins. Perkins stuff a little bit better overall, and when he moved to the pen, he threw about 3 miles an hour harder.
I was going to say he's about 6 inches quicker than Dunsing.
Yeah.
To the bag and rack him up. Two down.
Ryan Cordell getting his opportunity to swing the bat. It's a good change by Dunsing.
Well, since we've seen him, that's always been his best pitch. There's a shot that a boy, Ryan. Caught a little towards the end of the bat. He's got it out there.
Time now for IDOT Safe Play. IDOT reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life and death. And here is a base hit. Hit it in a perfect spot. So visit lifeordeathillinois.com.
So here's Matt. He's 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, and 1 knocked down. Now has 60 RBIs. Change up downstairs. And that is chop foul.
Nick Capra with a fine play.
Made himself a new friend.
Juan gives him a hand for making a new friend, or maybe for the good play.
They're not holding Ryan on at first base.
Matt Davidson has hit close to 300 against the lefties this year. Nate Jones loosening in the pen. And Joe Madden wants to make a change. So as Dunsing departs, so will we. We'll be back. Their bullpens, if they had a good closer anyway, they got other people's closers and put them toward the end, back end of the bullpen. Kinsler on for the 65th time, 2-3 ERA at 4.68, was a closer for the Twins. And save opportunities with the Cubs, 2 out of 5. Opponent's batting average at a very high 283, so it's not been the best of years for Brandon Kinsler.
So here's Wellington. Castillo got himself 3 hits and scored a couple of runs today. Takes ball 1. And that is 2-0.
Good Daniel Palka on deck.
On the outside edge of the outside corner. But not a good pitch to swing at on 2-0.
No, you're far ahead, and that one's just off a plate on the outside corner. You can't do much with that.
Two and two. There's a chopper, nice play. Gets the force a second, and that'll retire the side. So we'll go to the top of the 9th inning. Leading big.
Dodgers, Yasiel Puig. Last 7 games, he certainly is going places, hitting .522, just at the time when the Dodgers needed him the most. He's hit 6 home runs in 7 games, driven in 12, and scored 8. What a run for Yasiel Puig, the multi-talented young outfielder for the Dodgers.
He is that.
Nate Jones comes into the ball game. Last time we saw him, he threw it very well. ERA of .228 on for the 31st time. He's had an injury-plagued year, but when healthy, he's awfully good.
Man, the Dodgers coming into today 2.5 games in front of the Rockies.
It's been a great run for them because they looked like odd man out for a while and then just got hot at the perfect time.
So here is Albert Almora. Stay with it, he did. That was not a real easy pop right there.
So, and I think the more that Matt plays first base, the better off he is.
Well, he's got the defensive ability to play over there. He's just got to learn how to play it, because being a natural third baseman is different look with that ball, ground ball hit hard especially. You can get yourself some shin burgers.
Yeah, with Jose out of there with the infection, Matt is getting all kinds of time at first.
So here's Murphy. 2 for 5 with a homer. Talking about Murphy being with the Mets and talking about the Mets, David Wright coming back.
He's been a wonderful player.
Oh.
He's had so many injuries the last few years.
He's been just well, he's been the face of the Mets.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is such a sweet guy too.
Nice man, always was.
Oh, what a good kid. Wish him nothing but the best. Little high, as Uke would say. And there's another base hit for Murphy.
That's 3 of them for Daniel Murphy today. 3 for 5.
And here's Chris Bryant. Ate him up. And that is out number 2.
To top off Tim's day, he goes back, makes a nice play here. Not a difficult play, but a nice play.
So 2 down here at the top of the 9th, 10 for good guys.
I think Davis was looking for a fastball. he came out of his shoes to swing it down. But he is the man the Sox have been looking for all day, and that is out number 27.
stay in here. It won't. Now they're down to their last bullet. 2 outs, 0-2 the count.
They try to throw that one absolutely through Castillo. Lean back, get a little something extra, and catapulted over his head.
Take him right here. Has popped up right side, and when this ball comes down, this ball game will be over. Yes. So the Sox in this big 3-game set for the Cubs as they're trying to win a divisional title, and a series of pride for our kids. They win it 10-4, and I'll tell you what, Ronaldo Lopez is a thoroughbred.
Well, Ronaldo was just brilliant today. He went 7 innings, gave up a run on 5 hits. He didn't walk anybody, fanned 8. And when you give up a leadoff home run in a big series, and this is an exciting series for our Sox and an essential series for the Cubs. When you give up a lead home run, it's real easy to hang your head. All Ronaldo did after that was make sure that they wouldn't get any more runs. He gave up 4 hits after that, and that was it. So right now, we'll take a look at the Bona Beef player of the game. And it is Ronaldo Lopez. We told you his numbers, just the 1 run, it was earned, but no walks was the key. 8 big strikeouts. He came up big in his biggest moment of the year, and for Ronaldo, just a brilliant performance. So wrap your hands around the official Italian beef for the Sox at one of the 25 Bona locations. But all of this couldn't be accomplished without a 3-run homer by Kevin Smith. In the 2nd inning, down 1-0 already, Davidson singled, Castillo singled, and then Kevin Smith hit a big 3-run homer, just his 2nd of the year. That gives him 19 for the year, and that really took this ball club, lifted it on his shoulders, and they just kept on hitting the ball from there on out.
And let's go down on the field right now to one of our heroes today. He got us on the board with a big 3-run homer in the 2nd inning. And, of course, that is Kevin Smith. Kevin.
How you doing, Hawk?
Good, buddy. Nice game today.
Thank you.
Boy,
I
I'll tell you
appreciate
what, you look like you're all over everything.
Yeah, I was feeling good in there. I heard something on MLB Network the other day. It said tension shuts down your eyes. So that was my focus today. Just stay loose in the box, get ready early, and see it up.
Whatever it takes. You
yeah,
know
I know,
that.
right? Yeah, I know.
We were talking earlier about everybody can have a superstition if, in fact, it works.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a big game for you guys. You know, everybody talks about, well, it's not that big for the Sox. It is big for our club.
Oh, very big, yeah. I mean, obviously the support we had today was awesome. The fans were great. The energy was high, and we obviously rode that wave till the end. So.
Well, don't stop now, big guy. Keep going and keep swinging that bat.
Oh, we will, no doubt.
Kevin Smith, our hero for today's game. And we'll be back.